But hey, man, we have a very special program lined up. And this sports program is getting interrupted for a very, very, very good reason, man. You are hearing him there in the background. The honorable one. He's come through and captured us. He's come through and captured the sports show.
Most definitely, Babs. Speaking about capturing, we know that starting this week differently, so in Kofifi land. And like you said, you have captured Kofifi Sports for tonight. I know that some people have captured 8 and 7, the new age. Well, we have decided to capture Kofifi Sports for tonight between the hours of 6 and 7 o'clock.
James, who corrupt this?
Excuse.
Anyway, look up.
Guy.
Well, Kofifi Landers, here's what's happening today, man. We're going to be using this time to bring to you very, very exciting news that's going to be happening, man, in Kofifi land. There's very exciting opportunities that has come our way, and very exciting partnerships that has been formulated. Sure. You know, it's been months and months and months of talking and everything else, and eventually, you know, today it's just one of those days where pen gets put to paper. And there's a certain charismatic man, there's a certain energetic man, well-traveled, well-read, very much respected all around the globe, man, that I have been trying to get a sit-down with him in studio for the longest time.
Finally it happens. And by the way, Pops, the first time I saw him, it was back in 2014. I don't know if you remember us at Kofifi FM Westbury Studios.
Yeah.
He's in studio tonight.
Who are we talking about? We're talking about Dr. David Molapo.
Well, what a privilege to be with you guys. Like I said, in 2014, you are not in this beautiful...
Most definitely.
In this, you were in them cuckoos, but it's good to see. The song that says, we see God's blessings upon your life. But even though you were in that place, I supported you guys.
Sure,
yeah.
And that's what life is all about.
Well, hey, man, Dr. Molapo... There's so much that we can talk about.
Sure.
There's so much that we can talk about. I mean, you and I we'll talk. We will talk. But I mean, the business of the day is the ICANN Foundation, Kofifi Media Group, working together, and there's many other things that you just shocked me about. A lot of things that you were just saying right now. But I mean, let's just start there. ICANN Foundation working with the Kofifi Media Group.
Sure. Let's just go back quickly. ICANN Foundation was started when I was in prison at the age of 13,
Sure.
Modabi. Someone gave me a Gideon Bible. When I opened that Bible, the Lord led me to Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. The Bible reads, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Got released from prison, went to school here in South Africa, left, went to exile, 1990, met Nelson Mandela, came back to start now officially the ICANN Foundation.
Sure.
So it's fully registered in 1991, but fast tracking. When I first met Kofifi, I was impressed, first of all, by the vision of this wonderful organization. Again, from where you are, where you started and from where you are, I mean, it's like, wow, really God has been good. So today we are going to announce to the whole Kofifi lenders that ICANN Foundation, which is already in 5,000 schools, 17 African countries, 3 other nations, America, UK, and also the Netherlands. We are now starting a partnership that is going to be called ICANN Kofifi FM, and we'll talk about some of these things that we'll be doing, because we believe, Pops and my brother, things start in Jerusalem. We must start here in Jerusalem. So there'll be some stuff that we have for the youth, stuff for single people, available people like Pops, you know, married people, whether you're a man, a woman, maybe young man, papa, single parents, whatever. So we're going to be doing some exciting things on radio, live, and later on also we're going to talk about another program that is going to be between ICANN Foundation, Kofifi FM, and the Gauteng Department of Infrastructure and Development.
Now, you just spoke about programs for young people, but also for, I know that you're also running these programs for partners, maybe marriage partners for that matter. Maybe another question will be, what about this particular month? We know that we are commemorating Women's Month. Is there anything for women?
Yes, the good part is my wife could not be here today because she is in Cape Town, but God willing, by next week, we will have her on studio to encourage young women, mothers, single mothers, married women. So definitely every month we have a theme, and one of our partners or one of our key strategic person in that particular area will be here live to encourage, to give words of wisdom and guidance, coaching and mentoring. So definitely we have something for the women. But also, if you to ask me questions, so I can speak certain things on behalf. Example, yesterday I was talking about 7 kinds of men a woman must run away from. If you're married to one, go excuse, pray for it. But if you're a single woman, maybe if you can ask me later on about the 7 kinds of men that women need to run away from.
Sure.
Yes.
All right, then
7 kinds.
Yes.
7 kinds, Pops.
Yes.
I hope I'm not one of those.
James. But as I think everybody, that has come into contact with you, Dr. D, you know what I mean? They will always just speak about the energy that you speak, the passion that you always do speak about. And more specifically, for you, at the forefront has always just been about the development of the African child.
And Pops, I think if there's something as a legacy that I want to leave, that's that one.
Yeah.
That is why even with the ministry, you never hear a David Molapo ministry.
Sure.
Again, nothing wrong in people having their own ministry. It's always about I Can Foundation, that whole concept of self-belief, particularly for the African child, because our forefathers, our fathers, Matai Marona, our great ancestors never left anything for us.
Yeah.
They never left a baton. In fact, and then some of them, instead of barfeyona, they throw that baton.
Yeah.
So we made a decision, instead of being critical, because remember, if you want to be a good leader, you must be a good follower.
Sure.
So then we made a decision long time ago, and that's what keeps me young.
Sure.
That's why the passion, the enthusiasm, because I'm getting closer to 60, but you look at me today, and by the way, this is streamlined, this is live. Millions of people are watching this thing, so you can see I look cool, but really, hey, man, I'm, miles, so but the development of the African child, and I like it, whether it's a male child or a female child, if that's a legacy piece that we would like to live as I Can Foundation, is that piece.
And of course, that's what you have been doing as the I Can Foundation. Is it something that you'll be doing as the I Care Foundation as well, or as the I Care program rather?
Sure. Thank you now, because our other sponsor. So again, today we are launching the I Can Foundation in conjunction with Kofifi FM. And our target is to reach 1 million people who will sign the pledges. And the focus on the pledge is the I Care, We Care. So in the studio, we are privileged live for the first time at Kofifi FM. I can We've got Ntate Bethwel, the H.O.D, the head of department. Now, for the people who don't understand politics, there is a political figure who is called MEC, Ntate Mamabolo, Jacob Mamabolo. But the operational guy, the guy who signs the check, the guy who is quiet, who is a strategic guy, is from the Great North, Brother B. Bethwel. Welcome to Kofifi FM.
Thank you very much, Dr. D. Thank you very much. Thanks, colleagues.
Well, Brother Picha North, and you're the strategic guy.
Exactly.
The right person to speak to.
The right person to speak to. I've been captured. I need to get rid of this man. So while you and I discuss our strategy, let's just take a quick ad break, and then we're going to come back on the other side of that. Do remember, you can get involved with us right here, man. Whatever questions that you want to pose to the H.O.D right here. H.O.D. Bethwel, that is, yeah? Or even to Dr. David Molapo, 071, 082, I nearly just gave out my number. 071-425-9577, that is the SMS line as well as WhatsApp. Alternatively, please do call us in studio on 08723-00972.
As drugs were openly sold and police who frequent the area did nothing.
Residents insist that the city had dismantled their illegally connected electricity.
The Hawks are investigating a case of kidnapping and human trafficking.
You must be asking, why is all these things happening? Are you tired of pointing fingers? Are you tired of all the problems that you have in your community, in your family? Now, for the first time on South African radio, Kofifi FM, in partnership with Ecclesia Radio, will be having a prayer marathon live on air every Friday from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. Saturday morning. Join us as we pray for you and your community. And if you need prayer, send your request through now to Ecclesia Prayer Line on 074 0805. Pray, and God bless you all.
Do you want to learn how to do this?
Camera 2 on standby.
As well at number 29 Rhodes Avenue. And Macmillan Road in Westbury. Contact 011 046 2846 or 011 046 2874 for more information. Join the Broadcasting Academy today.
There it is, you just heard it. Kofifi broadcast. Hey, the Broadcasting Academy. It is finally there, man. The details were given in that ad right there. So if you're interested in broadcasting, you want to get involved in the world of broadcasting, do send through your CVs and everything else, man. Go through to Rose Park. Alternatively, you can bring it to our offices right here, 450 on Deckers Road, and you will be assisted. But hey, today we're not just talking about that. We're talking about many other. We're talking about many other opportunities that is coming through, and you know, the one of them is one that I'm particularly excited about, man. I mean, the working relationship and partnership between Kofifi Media Group, the wecare Foundation, but also to that, there's something very interesting and exciting. It is the wecare campaign that has been run, and I particularly loved it, and I think, you know, everybody else here in the office, we particularly liked it because, I mean, it speaks at the I Respect campaign that we've been running, you know, the I Respect movement that we've been running, which is just basically about, you know, the respect for your fellow humans, your fellow people, the respect for infrastructure, the respect, you know, and I mean, right now, you know, we do know that, and I think it's one thing that we always shy to speak about, but it has to be said. We're currently facing a femicide. You know, I mean, I respect also does speak at that as well. You know, you gotta pledge your support and your respect for women, you know, and the protection of that. But right now, wecare, we care. Tell us more about that, Dr. Bethwel.
No, thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. I'm here representing MEC Mama Wulo, the MEC for the Department of Infrastructure Development, who launched this campaign last year or so. And the campaign is basically responding to the problems that we see in the communities, where we're saying that as government, and as Gauteng provincial government in particular, we're very serious about investing in infrastructure in our communities in order to build communities, to create jobs, and to create opportunities for people to develop and grow. So as we do this, we've observed a trend that's very, very worrying, where we see people destroying, vandalizing the very same infrastructure that we're putting in place to service the people. This usually happens when the so-called service delivery protests, which is an irony on its own, because if people are protesting against services, how do they then turn and destroy the very same infrastructure that we're putting in place to serve them? So we're saying that we want to mobilize the community and people of Gauteng to say that let's join hands and work together to make sure that we care for our infrastructure, we protect it, so that it can extend the services that it's meant for.
And speaking about service delivery and also infrastructure has been banned, we know that most of the time when we see service delivery protests, we know that schools more especially are being affected, where we get our schools being burned down. In Gauteng alone, we know that so many, a couple of schools were banned rather during those service delivery protests. And understand that the MEC for Education in Gauteng province is also endorsing this particular program.
Yeah, this program has been adopted by the whole Executive Council of the province. So it's also part of the Premier's program of Intirisano, which is an outreach program in the province. So yes, it's a campaign that's widely acknowledged by everybody in terms of the need for it. And we want to rally everybody behind it to make sure that as we build these new schools, rebuild the old schools, build the clinics and hospitals, we maintain them, we protect them, and we make sure that this infrastructure is there to last for a very, very long time to serve our people. We spend a lot of money as government to build this infrastructure. As the province, we spend in the region of about 10 billion rand a year in various infrastructure programs across the province. So that's a lot of investment that we're putting into our communities to develop these communities. And we can't afford a situation where we destroy this very same infrastructure.
And of course, also spending more money now having to fix what was already rather built in the community. So you make sure that you also remain part of this conversation on 97.2 FM. Remember, speaking to the H.O.D, the head of departments from the Department of Economic Infrastructure Development, and also right in Gauteng province, rather, where MEC Mama Bolo, MEC Jacob Mama Bolo is the MEC that particular department. Now, of course, we have been speaking about this many times in Kofifi, where we say, do not destroy what we have in our communities in order to get what we want, because it doesn't really help. We have to now spend more money fixing what we had that we destroyed yesterday in the call for what we want as Kofifi. So you make sure that you also send us your views, as Paps was saying, but also call us on our studio number 087 23 00972.
Now, H.O.D, I just need to get an understanding around here. You know, money is being spent, but I mean, let's just talk the real figures of it. You know, because for instance, to build a school, what is the process that is involved in building the school right up until the money that gets spent?
Yeah, it basically starts with a planning process, and there's a very long process that we plan. We have to plan ahead. In Gauteng, we've got what we call Gauteng Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan, where we've basically mapped out what kind of infrastructure that we need in various sectors: education, health, water, sanitation, energy, and so on, and including roads and transport. So that planning basically then, based on the needs in terms of where we need these facilities, will engage all stakeholders that are involved to say that we need to build new schools in these areas because this community is growing. There's a need for more schools, there's a need for clinics, there's a need for other social infrastructure. We have a program that we call here mega cities in Gauteng, where we want to basically build bigger cities, integrated cities for inclusivity. So the planning process basically then starts with identifying the needs in different localities. And once we've done that planning, we then have to mobilize the resources that are required from funding, from professional services, from contractors that we then need to appoint. And as the department, we manage that value chain process to make sure that everything is lined up until we then build a school and hand it over. I mean, you might have heard in Gauteng we talk about what we call smart schools.
Yes.
So it means we're then basically saying that we need to take advantage of technology in the province so that we can prepare youth that can then participate meaningfully in the economy and be prepared for the future. And technology is everything today. So we spend a lot of money in this infrastructure that we're building. For example, just to build a new school from the start, it will cost us in the region of 80 to even 100 million. Our schools in Gauteng are much bigger. The population in Gauteng is the biggest in the country, and more people continue to move into the province. So we have to make sure that we build facilities that people can use and accommodate them.
And of course, also speaking about making sure that we maintain these infrastructures, more especially in our local communities. That's how we also get to attract investors. That's how we get to attract those people who are coming from other countries that are coming to our communities, in order for them to see what is it that we have in our communities that will be of interest to them.
That's a very good point on the maintenance, because we have also observed that as government, we have not paid much attention into maintenance of existing infrastructure. The focus has been much more on the new, based on the backlogs that we're sitting with. But we're saying that we need to get that balance right, because we can save a lot of money from making sure that the existing infrastructure is looked after, so that its lifespan is extended for a very long time to service our people. So maintenance is a very, very critical function, and that's what we do as the department. We maintain our health facilities across the province. We also then do maintenance for all other infrastructure that we build. So we don't just build only, we build and maintain and manage these assets.
I'm glad actually that you just mentioned, the maintenance of existing infrastructure. I need to ask this because I've often just heard it, especially when there is service delivery protests. People speaking about forgotten communities. And I'm going to mention it. I mean, you look at it. Majority of the development around Joburg has been in the Soweto area. I think, it is no secret right there. You look at Soweto, in the last 20-21 years, they've received majority of the attention. How do you identify what is the process in identifying communities and areas where they will get new infrastructure built or even the maintenance of existing?
In the beginning of this current term of administration, the Premier introduced a program that he called the TMR, in short, basically transformation, reindustrialization and modernization of the province. And one of the things that was saying is that we need to look at spatial reconfiguration of the province so that we then build infrastructure closer to where people are. And that talks again to this issue of building new cities. So part of that program, we have then divided the province into what we call 5 development corridors, covering the whole province end to end. So we're in the central corridor, which is Johannesburg. Ekurhuleni is the eastern, Tshwane is the northern, and then we'll go southern and western. Actually, this is western, I'm sure, isn't it? This is the western.
Sure, we're in the west.
So this is the western. So this is the western. So that approach basically makes sure that in each corridor, we then need to look at what are the needs, what are the opportunities for economic development in each of the corridors. So our spatial development framework then covers those opportunities and needs that we need to respond to across the province and community by community, so that no one is left without infrastructure and services that are needed.
Granted, it takes time. Even to build a house, you're not going to start today and then by next week you have a new house. There's a problem. If you're going to start building a house today and then next week you move in, something is wrong with that house. But it takes time, right? And for a lot of people, the frustration comes down to, but it's been 21 years. It's been 22 years. That's the frustration, and you look at it, and I'm glad you actually just mentioned the West Rand. I grew up in the West Rand, born, bred, buttered, even jammed in the West Rand. And I can tell you that there's been little development within the West Rand. Everybody else was we were going on about the PRT, the pass system thing. None of that, you've seen it in the West Rand. You're talking about your smart schools. I think only recently now when we went to Ramfontein High School, that's the one school that is there. And that is that's a school that is classed as your former Model C type of school. So even in the townships, the little townships in the West Rand, there has been little development right there. So I think you would need to do possibly a lot in putting to rest those frustrations that may just be building up.
No, I'm glad you're mentioning that point, that it does take time, and we are sensitive to that, but you can't take away the need for proper planning.
True.
I think what we are dealing with here is a legacy of a situation that was neglected for a very, very long time. The economies in different areas is changing. This area was largely a mining area. There's no longer mining, so we need to look at what is the new economic opportunities that we need to create in this area. There are huge opportunities here around what we call green economy, in terms of the land space that is available that we can use to create for example, what we call a solar farm, that we can then use that to generate electricity and energy. So those are the opportunities that we need to look at area by area in terms of this area, based on its geographic location and the opportunities, what are the best things that we can do and collectively work with everybody. I think this partnership with the ICANN Foundation, one of the things that we want to achieve with this is how do we improve the way we communicate? We tend to plan and do things in our offices, and communication has been very, very weak. That's why the Premier's program on Tirisano outreach is meant for that, to go out as government, to go and listen to people and say, this is what we're planning to do, how can we work together? And once people understand what we're planning to do together, they will obviously work with us and have the patience that's required to make sure that services are delivered.
And we'll be able to also eliminate so many service delivery projects in our communities. Now, another question then will be the involvement of our ward councillors, because we are speaking about Gauteng Department of Economic or rather Infrastructure Development. And when we are speaking about that, we are speaking at the provincial provincial level rather. Now at the municipal level, because that's where mostly service delivery, or we assume as people that service delivery takes place. How involved will our ward councillors, our councillors in our local communities be when it comes to the wecare, wecare?
This is where we come in as ICANN Foundation, because we saw those gaps.
Sure.
Yes.
So as part of those gaps, example, we started in the East Rand because the program is already started. So what we'll do, we'll look for those ward councillors. We really don't care which political group they are. Because a library is a library. Whether you're ANC, EFF, DA, a library is a library. A school is a school. So up to now, 100% we have had awesome reception because we meet with them first and then enable and empower them, not just telling them this is the iCare program. No. We do that, but it's a full package. Paps was there when we were at the Randfontein High School, where the DDG from GDID speaking to the young people. I spoke, Pap spoke. You can't just, give it to people. You can't patronize people. You involve them and engage them because then they become excited. So as part of this Kofifi iCare, wecare program, you will be hearing some of those things where a particular day, Lisigo, Azziz, and Molapo, and the MEC or the H.O.D. is having a breakfast with the pastors, with the ward councillors, so that we engage them first. So that, guys, we're going to come into your community. This is what we're going to be doing. The plus for ICANN Foundation, we're already doing that. The plus for Kofifi FM, through the I Respect, you're already doing that. So all it is, as H.O.D. Bethwel is saying, by the way, H.O. Bethwel, it's in the Bible, you know that. The mother of Jacob, that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the mother of Jacob's father was Bethwel. So if Paps is not in the Bible, James is in the Bible, so it looks at our Paps. So what you're saying is it's exactly why we're saying we're excited today to have a man of this caliber, and also, God willing, we'll even have the MEC here. Yeah. But the mere fact that the operational guy is here is exactly saying, folks, today is just to announce, but from here, through Kofifi FM, we're going to be meeting the ward councillors. We're going to be doing leadership courses with them. Already Dr. Richie is here, as you know. We're going to be here in this program. And through Kofifi FM, again, we don't stop here. The whole Gauteng. Remember our commitment to the MEC and to the H.O.D. Within 6 months, we need 1 million pledges for people to pledge. But like what you said, Paps, it's not just take care of the building. As a Christian, this building first. Yes. Know you know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. Take care of this building. But when you've taken care of this building, then as Mjita, take care of the other building. Ya maid, uska shapa maid, uska repa maid. You can't now beat your wife, whatever. Then Hutlokamo is the communities, cleaning the communities. We can't be coming from town, the towns are clean. And then Runa in our taxis, the corner. So this whole thing, it's not just a program. I call it a process to say you make an individual decision that I care, a place, so that because I care, we care. And we're going to come up with practical things, that we can do as a community. Remember, we're not only going to stop at Kofifi FM, we're going to be in the mainstream media. We'll be on television, radio. But the good part is, if you're a Kofifi FM listener, you'll see Kofifi FM where it all began. Zonke Indawo.
And we have always been saying, Babs, that when we speak about community members being involved, we are speaking about you as a community member feeling that you are one of the stakeholders. And this is where now where Dr. Molapo is driving this conversation to, that you need to also be one of the stakeholders.
Yes.
And you need to be more involved, not only as a ward councillor, not only as a pastor in the community, but also as an ordinary community member, because it is your property after all, it is your infrastructure after all, and that's why you need to also play part in protecting. Whenever you see that James is trying to ban the library, you definitely have to say something. You must do something.
And again, with positive peer pressure, starting in the schools and things. Even in your own house, forget GDID. Taking care of your own house, your own toilet. The government can only do so much, but at the end of the day, as we always say, government can't do everything. Government is not Jehovah Jireh. God is our source, but government is meeting halfway with the limited resources. All we're saying is, as stakeholders, let's put our hands together and get things done. And by creating one, an awareness, 2, beyond awareness, and 3, a sustainable program and a process that will make our people proud, to see what our governments are doing.
No, good point, because we're calling this a campaign for now. And I think going forward, we would like to see this as a social movement
Yes.
that we can sustain into the future in terms of how do we change the mindset of the people. Because that's the key issue in terms of how do people relate to government properties. Historically, people didn't have opportunities to own even their own private individual properties, and their relationship with government properties has been very problematic for the reasons that we know. But we're saying that this is a democratic government. This is your infrastructure to service you, and we need to look after it. So there's an issue about the mindset that we need to work on together in terms of how to then use this infrastructure as a platform for social cohesion, not as a platform for distraction and for opposing each other.
But let's start with Kofifi FM, H.O.D. You don't know what Kofifi FM started. It was in an abandoned school. Is that right?
No, it's what school hostel. That
School
is.
hostel.
School
School hostel.
hostel.
But what it was sitting doing nothing. So the visionaries of Kofifi FM says, hey, Bana, let's have a community radio station. Downstairs, they were like, career guidance stuff, whatever, And after coming from Rwanda, I really believe that we can do it. I mean, Rwanda was a messed up country.
Yeah.
And to see that in Rwanda, you can't even throw chewing gum away, Sometimes we think, whatever. No, it can be done. But I like your approach on, it's always about the mindset.
Yeah.
And again, as Christians, we are not shy to talk about, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yes.
Everything starts in here, like where it all began. To me, it begins right here.
Sure.
So through this whole lifestyle change of saying, take care of your property, starting with you, and then the people around you, and then the communities around you. So again, it's Ntate Mama Bulo's vision with the H.O.D to say, guys, here is our little contribution. Let's get Kofifi FM, get busy. Let's just spread the message, and that's why we're here.
I just need to get this quickly from you, HOD. Is the expectation from your side? Yes, we are looking at people to pledge. But I mean, the expectation overall, when it does come to the I Care, We Care campaign.
Really, I think it's the point that we're raising. The expectation is that how do we then have a new mindset in terms of how do we relate to government assets in the same way that we relate to our own private assets. So that we can really protect this infrastructure to continue to serve the people. So we want to see that mindset change. We want to see people respecting these properties. So it's very much aligned to your own campaign of I respect, and I think we need to adopt that message and build it into our own messaging. So we want to get to a point where communities can stand up to defend these assets and see them as their own assets and have that kind of relationship that this cannot be done not in our name, not in our time. We will not allow that in our communities. We can have issues, problems with government because of this and that, but let's not vent the anger against government properties and destroy them.
And the funny part, during our years while we were fighting the system of apartheid, we never banned school, Chief.
Exactly.
Isn't that amazing?
Exactly.
That's a fact. It's a fact. We never banned our libraries. In fact, we used to meet in these libraries, in these schools, under the guise of church. You know, I have a church, and then afterwards, because we realized when all is said and done, we're still going to need the libraries. My Gokok is still going to need a clinic. My children are still going to need a school. So we're saying it does not matter who's in government, it's our assets. And yes, what the H.O.D say, it's a taxpayer's money. That's a health. So we gotta protect that. And I like what you said, H.O.D. It's all about ownership. When people begin to own things, this is our country, it's our land, Bafuit. Yes.
So that's the message right there. I care, we care. Is the fact that you have to take ownership.
Correct.
Take ownership of government infrastructure, because at the end of the day, it is your infrastructure that is there. That clinic that is there. I mean, there's a very big clinic that was built in Westbury. State of the art type of clinic. Can you imagine if that goes to waste? There's a library that is there and everything else. And I mean, when I was mentioning also the communities that needs to be developed, that is also just one of them. Where you do look at it, besides the clinic, people might just be sitting and saying, but there's potholes in our streets, but this and that and everything else. Yes, all of that does take time, but I feel at the end of the day, what is there, let's take ownership of it. Now, HOD, what I just need to get here from you guys quickly is contact details. I want to get in touch with the Department of Infrastructure and Development. How do I get a hold of you guys? How do I bring something to your attention? Maybe, you know, which possibly, in my opinion, you guys may just have neglected or is you are not aware of. You know, how do we get hold of the Department of Infrastructure and Development?
Yeah. I mean, we are online. We have a website as the department, so I'll leave you those details that you can then communicate to the community members out there in terms of how they can contact us. So it's either by email. We're also on Facebook as the department. We're also tweeting, so we'll then provide those details that we can be reachable with ease.
Okay, yeah, I think, yeah.
And then as far as the wecare, wecare program, from next week we'll give you our new website because Kofifi FM will also be present in there, okay? So you'll be hearing about, you know, those. And then the days and the sessions that we'll be doing. Guess where? Right in Westbury. Pops, I'm going to challenge you. We're starting YISO.
Let's start at home.
We're still right at home. Yeah, so Westbury with the pastors, communities, churches, schools, whatever. So we're going to pump this thing that, you know, it's not like we are now the forgotten. Because, you know, remember, with me, I'm 2-in-1. My maza clearly, Papa ke Mosotho. So, you know, this mix is important because you know. So we got to be able to do that. But, you know, as part of ICANN Foundation, we're already doing work in Westbury and all the berries that are there, you know, we're already there anyway.
All right, H.O.D, those contact details?
The contact details in terms of the telephone number is 011, of course, 355 5080. That's the telephone line. And the website is www.gautengonline.gov.za.
Okay, so www.gautengonline.co.za. .gov.za.
Correct.
Yeah, forget that one. .gov.za. And that phone number again, 011
355 5080.
And I believe that going forward, we'll also be getting more information as Kofifi land as to where we can go if we want to report. Let's say we have a contractor who has been given rather a platform rather to create, to rather do something in our communities, maybe to develop a certain property, and they are not really doing a proper job, and or rather we feel that they are not really doing what they are supposed to be doing. Then I believe that through the wecare will definitely be giving our community members information as to this is where you can go if you want to report that contractor who is behaving in a dishonorable manner.
Well, let's be practical. It's already happening, James. Okay. The Gauteng department gave some contractors to rebuild Randfontein High School. We were there with Pops. So they are waiting for the H.O.D. I think an email was sent to say that one of the contractors is not doing their part there. So yes, because again, it's our money. It's good to demand service, but when good service is also offered, hey, it's wonderful once in a while to say, guys, good job. Let's also catch the department doing something right. You know, it always encourages people to continue to do the good work.
Communication is key.
Communication is key indeed. And you know what? As a radio station, but hey, there's TV as well and all of that. You're seeing us on YouTube right now. And there's just so much more that is happening. But I mean, as we just said, I think it is about us as the community getting involved and taking ownership of the infrastructure that is there. They are there for us, and they are built using our taxes that we're paying. So that is why, you know, we have got to take ownership of that. H.O.D, thank you so very much for your time. Really do appreciate it so very much. And we look forward to working and reaching that target of 1 million signatures, a million pledges. Which is what it is, man. Kofifi Landers, you gotta assist us. Let us all put our signatures down in pledging, you know, for this wonderful campaign, this wonderful movement. I care, we care, right? And to the good doctor.
Well, like I said, this is just the beginning. Dr. Richie has started. We have started. So it's always about us we'll be giving some wonderful stuff, because as part of the wecare, wecare project, we're going to be online. And all the people who pledge, we also want to make sure they download some of our latest CDs, DVD for FREE for free. But then the other ones will obviously charge them, because remember, for every voice, there's an invoice. Yes.
And
I'm adopting that saying. Just so by the way, I am adopting it. For every voice, there's an invoice.
Quickly quoting what the MEC Mama Bolo said last year, perhaps, that through this campaign, we're building a culture whereby communities will be joining hands to protect public property. So I think this is where this conversation also led us to say, as a community member listening to this station anywhere in Gauteng province, it is in your hands to make sure that you protect your own property, or the property rather in your community. Be it government property, it is your property after all.
We'll put up those contact details once again on our Facebook page and Twitter handles as well. So do get us there on Kofifi FM 97.2 at Kofifi FM _972 on Twitter. And do remember, this has been streaming live on YouTube. So we'll share the link as well on Facebook. Once again, H.O.D, thank you so very much, Dr. Molapo.
Bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, man. That is just that. 6 minutes just after the hour of 7 o'clock. While the Honorable is here, you took your own time today. Since you captured it, we shall leave you with your studio. The daily wrap-up is next, man. There's so much that happened in this world. So yeah, he's just going to be wrapping up on that.
Kofifi FM 97.2, keeping it proudly South African. Do you want to learn how to do this?
Camera 2 on standby.